Hey, welcome back. Listen, we don't take it for granted that you're watching this. We want to make sure that we're bringing you great content, and really great content, not from our almighty wisdom, but from our experience in building a business in the insurance industry. And this may be applicable to you outside of your industry. It may be outside of the insurance industry. It may be applicable to your family. But we're just trying to provide you with some of our experience, and hopefully it helps. Today, the topic of conversation for us that we'll have in front of you is what does your team need? What does your team need? And when I say team, maybe you're building you're in the mortgage business. You have a team of mortgage lenders, or maybe you're in the insurance business. You got a team of agents. Maybe you're a coach for a soccer team, and you have a team of players. Or maybe you're a parent and you're building a team with your family and with your kids. What does your team need? And what I've found so often is really a lot of people leading teams don't ask that question. Yep. They don't stop and think for a second. Look, I was having a conversation earlier today with a couple that has been with us for a long time. I really like them, not just in the business, but personally, I like them very much. We're friends. And I recognized in them something that I also recognize about myself. I am a systems person. I don't know if I was always like that, but I've become that, and I just develop systems, I develop processes, and I just follow them, and I trust the system because it's developed and it produces predictable results. Well, as a systems person, too often I get trapped in that system or process and don't think. I'm just following the do, and I'm not stopping to think. And that's a problem. And here's how it pertains to the team and raising the team. Well, I get so connected to and engaged with and committed to the process that I forget that I'm dealing with humans when I'm dealing with a team. And every human is different. Every human has different needs. Every human likes to be led differently. Every human likes to be communicated differently. There may be similarities from person to person, but all in all of us are individuals. And so you have to ask your question of what does that person need? You know, we spend, over the years, we've spent lots of money on finding great quality agents. And we found some great quality agents. We found more that weren't great quality. That's right. But we found a whole bunch of great ones. And here's the thing. When you find that great one, you really have to ask, what does that person need from me in order for me to pour more gas on that fire and help them get where they want to go, where I want them to get to? How do I do that? What do they need from me? Do they need me to get out of their way? I've had people say, you have such and such leader in your organization. What did you do for them? I said, I kind of headed them in the right direction and got the heck out of their way. That's what they needed from me, because they are very autonomous thinking. They're very responsible. They think for themselves. They didn't need me to do a whole lot. On the other hand, like we raising kids, right? You're going to say something in just a second, but we're raising children, and our 3 children are all very similar. But they're also all very different, and they have different learning styles, different learning abilities. They have different personalities. They have some of our children enjoy being pushed. Some don't want to be pushed. Some need maybe they need this tutor, or maybe they need this learning lab, or maybe they need this extra incentive, this carrot hanging over them to reach out for, to get. And some of them just need us for us to give them space and time to get it done on their own time. But if we can't treat all of our kids equally in that, we have to treat them fairly, and fairly treating them is asking, what do they need from me? Right. What can I do for them? How can I help them get there? And pausing and thinking about it for a second. And with that, I'll pause and let you think for a second.
Well, I think one of the most difficult aspects of understanding what do these people that we lead need is figuring out whether we're right or wrong of what we think they need.
That's a doozy.
So I think obviously a key factor as a leader is you have to listen. You got to ask good questions, and you need to listen. I also think that you've got to, as you listen, you need to look for patterns. Sometimes you have one conversation or you hear one comment from a person or a child, or an agent that you're leading, and you can assume, you take that one comment and you take it out of context, and then you make choices and decisions based on one comment. And I think it's wisdom to look for patterns in for example, if I'm running a meeting this week for our team, let's say we're doing a team call. Well, you've been talking to the team throughout the week. You've had individual conversations, and there seems to be a running theme that that people are getting into the home, but they're having difficulty, finalizing and closing the sale. Like you might see that pattern.
Yeah.
And so you decide this week on the call, we're going to talk about how to close in the home. We'll go over the ATM, what we call the ATM.
Yeah.
Right?
Home presentation. Right.
So you want to look for patterns of what's going on. I mean, maybe there's just an overall sense of disappointment in the team. People are just having a hard time. They're facing more failure than success. And so maybe this week you need to talk about and strengthen them and encourage them and talk about the good things and remind them with inspiring stories. Yeah. Maybe they're new and they don't know anything at all, and you got to put yourself back into their shoes and remember what it was like to be a new agent and how did I get from point A to point B. So you've got to listen and look for patterns. Obviously, the same thing goes in parenting. You've got to stop and listen. And sometimes I have to remember and remind them, hey, I was 12 at one point. Yeah. I was 14 at one point. Yeah. And we need to, listen and respond correctly. We need to listen to what it is that they say that they need.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I think the other side of that is sometimes people don't know what they need.
No.
But you as a leader see things that they need. So, and sometimes you can't just call it out directly. Like, last podcast, I'm assuming maybe went out, the one before us, where we're talking about, do you really want to move forward? And we ended up talking about, toxic negativity and toxic positivity. We were kind of commenting, speaking of parenting, about one of the kids in our home. And so, we're at a place now.
I didn't say it was a kid in our home. I said it was somebody who came from
one of
loins.
our family. Well, right. You left it really vague for
really
them.
Vague.
That was good. You left it so vague. But we can bring it up because there was a pattern going on in our home, and after a while, we began to address the pattern. Right. So we're not talking about something or someone who we've not talked to that person directly, and helped them slowly but surely recognize that they get stuck in that pattern and find more effective ways to be positive and optimistic. So I think as a leader, though, this is where you kind of learn, sometimes by doing it wrong and hopefully eventually getting it right, is you learn how to maybe not directly tell someone, hey, this is, you're just stuck in toxic negativity.
Like, you suck.
Right. People don't want to hear that.
No.
But you slowly start bringing them around to optimistic way of thinking. You've talked to them 3 to 5 times, and then after a while you might say, hey, I'm sort of noticing this trend when we talk. What do you think about that? Do you think this is true? And you begin to engage them in conversation that helps them indirectly move in the direction that could be helpful. But it's based on your own experiences and helping them move through. But I still think at the root of it all, as leaders, there can be this, there's almost this, we don't lead people because we just aren't sure how to lead people. But I think as we consistently listen, look for patterns, ask good questions, you will begin to see, based upon your own experiences, how to helpfully lead your team, or lead the people, or your children, the people in your life, to lead them through the things that they're walking through.
Yeah, it's tough, and one of the things I maybe I pride myself on in building the business is my ability to work. Like, just put my head down and work. And I know in conversations with some in my business and just people in the industry, like a typical success factor is your ability to work. Put your head down and work. Well, I don't just want to build the business. We're in a people business. I want to also build people.
Right.
And I was having a conversation with a friend just the other day via text. We're texting back and forth, and he said, hey, this person quoted you and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, dude, that's exciting because we didn't just help them build a business and make some money, but we just changed generations because we taught somebody a different paradigm that they grabbed onto. It's not something we forced them to do, but they learned from it. And because of that, their kids and grandkids and great-grandkids, we just changed generations. Mm-hmm. And that's where you kind of get deeper. So if you're a leader like myself who is really prone to just kind of put your head down, get the job done, you got to stop and think. And this is where one of the things I love to do is every night I'm looking at our team organizational chart. I'm looking at the different names, and I'm not necessarily ruminating on each one of them because we do have a large team of people following us, but I am looking and I am thinking, and a name will pop out. And I go, oh, and I'll just start thinking about that person. Maybe I make some notes. Maybe I shoot them a quick email or text. Maybe I go ahead and schedule a conversation for us to talk. Or maybe I'm preparing now because I know that conversation is tomorrow. We're having it tomorrow. But it's just the pausing for a second and stopping and thinking and allowing yourself to wonder. And I say this about our sales system. Our sales system is make a friend and figure out how you can help them. Well, leading people is make a friend and figure out how you can help them too. Right, yep. It's the same process, right?
Yeah. I mean, I hope that you're listening to us and you're feeling challenged in the people that you lead in your life. First, do you know what they need? Have you asked yourself that question? And how can you fill that need?
Yeah. Well, and if we can help in any way, please let us know. The easiest way of getting out or reaching out to us and getting on our calendars is going to thefitzgroup.org/staff calendars. Also, if you're paying attention to any of our other posts, we have quarterly events constantly happening. You're welcome to join us for those. Come to our sales meetings, team calls. We're here to help, and we just want to. If we can help you learn, even in this topic, we're happy to help. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey, now that you know.
You know.